I haven't had a job for 8.5 years, and I'm never going back. So what am I doing up in the, well, living a life of luxury up here? I'm just on vacation. Up here in Island Park on the reservoir, got a cabin. It's waterfront on the island. In fact, this morning just saw a black bear swim across the reservoir while I was out here in a canoe. And then I went back in for breakfast afterwards. Anyway, how am I doing this when I haven't had a job for 8.5 years and I paid for it and invited family to come and have this awesome vacation with us? Well, yeah, I'm self-employed. And that's what I am talking about here. It's not that I don't work. I work a lot, but I like to play a lot, and I try and work smart. I try and work in a way that creates residual income. Now, residual income, a lot of people think is a myth. They've tried all these get-rich-quick things, or they've joined MLMs because when you build a team, then you just got, the residual income coming in, and you make 7 figures after a year, and you have 1 million people in your downline, or there's just some hot new investment and whatnot. Well, the reality is it's hard work. Being an entrepreneur, you have to understand that you have to be okay with failure and understand that failure are stepping stones. All the mistakes you make are stepping stones towards success. It's actually been a dream of mine to come here, back to this reservoir, back to the island, for 13 years. We had a cabin up here in my family. My grandparents owned it. And 13.5 years ago, 13 and a few months ago, my grandfather passed away. And so we came up one last time that summer. And then my grandma sold the cabin. And this is my paradise. And I've wanted to come back here so bad. I dream about it a lot. In the early morning and late at night, there's these birds that screech out over the water. And when I want to go to a peaceful place in my mind, I just close my eyes, I can hear those birds, and it just brings me back right here to Island Park. So this is my paradise. And I'm here, but it took me 13 years to get here. 8 years, 8.5 years as an entrepreneur of a lot of trial and error and making mistakes, learning from it, trying something new. Maybe it working a little bit better, but not exactly as I wanted. So, try again. Wait for this guy to cruise by here. So not everyone, I have to admit, I guess that not everyone is built to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is built to be self-employed and be their own boss. They just want a 9-to-5 job and want somebody else to kind of take on that risk, give you the security. But that's not me. I could never go back to being an employee, and I won't say never. Who knows what life has in store for me. But I'm quite confident in where I am. I'm quite confident in my abilities. And right now my whole career is dependent upon YouTube existing and YouTube growing and thriving. But even if, let's say, the owners of YouTube just made some huge mistakes, they upset all the creators, they upset all the advertisers, and it just started to implode. Or let's say YouTube got bought out by Facebook, and then Facebook shut it down. So that's my scenario. If that happened, what would I do? Would I polish my resume and go job searching? No, I would not. I would reinvent myself and provide value. See, I've had a web design company. I've had a search engine optimization company. I've had a speaker video, like where you make a promo video for public speakers. I've put on 13 events. That is a big bird. I think that's one of those big gray cranes, like blue herons or something. Go. Oh, I'll start heading that way. Maybe I can show you if I get close enough. In the last 8.5 years, those are all different types of services that I've offered. And I've, really found my niche and just found my most excitement, or fulfillment is the better word, with YouTube. Also the best results and momentum. But I'm at a place now where You know, I've made $5,000, you know, in this week that I've been here at Island Park. And I've been playing. You know, we were at Yellowstone National Park yesterday, but oh, that is an eagle. That is an eagle. So far away. That is an eagle. Oh, I paddle with one hand and hold my GoPro. And my other GoPro there too. Maybe I can, if I do this, bear with me. Let's aim it that way. Can you see it? That's an awesome bird. Look at the talons on that thing. He must be hurt because he can't fly very far. Hi, buddy. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Hi, buddy. Are you hurt? Oh, he's doing okay. All right, so now he's up in a tree. That's where he should be. He just looked like he was working so hard. I think his feathers are wet. There's, in the distance, there's the bird that I thought I was seeing. A big, long blue heron with like a crane. I don't know if I'm calling it the right bird, but yeah, that was an eagle. That was awesome. I think you got to see that. I guess the moral of the story that I want to share here is all the work, all the stress that I've had, all the mistakes that I've made, and the lessons that I've learned have all been so worth it to be able to get to this point to where now I'm finally able to, you know, that I've finally been able to achieve this goal. I've got a lot more goals. I've got so many more ideas. I'm an excited, passionate entrepreneur doing some great things on YouTube. But yeah, if YouTube, that's what I was saying. If YouTube disappeared, you know, what would I do? I'd create another service. I've got a lot of skills. I've learned a lot of great things. So that's the one great thing about entrepreneurship, where you learn from your mistakes and you just do trial and error, is you learn a lot. And I've got a lot of practical, applicable skill sets, so that if something crazy happened to YouTube, I don't have to go back to the drawing board and rely on another company to hire me. I don't have to try to impress some CEO or some employer. Hey, I'm the right guy for you, and I'm going to dedicate myself to you and your dreams of your company, because I could just recreate my own. I'm using YouTube right now because YouTube is the best place to be to get the easiest, quickest results. And it's working so well. Yeah, I know that YouTube's not going to be around forever. I anticipate that for the next 5 years, this is my prediction, the next 5 years, 5 years from now, YouTube's going to be even bigger and better than it is right now. Beyond that, I don't know, because what's Facebook going to do? What's Instagram going to do? What's Google going to do? Google owns YouTube. What's going to come around that we haven't heard of before? You know, what's Netflix going to do? What are cable TV networks going to do and change their strategy? So as we speak, there are several things that I'm actually experimenting with and trying with. I'm doing things with podcasts now that I wasn't before. Not in a big way yet, it's still just exploration. But I'm doing a lot more Instagram than I used to. Right now, YouTube is still by far and away better than any of these tools at the moment for getting results, for generating leads, for generating ad revenue. for building a following, YouTube is by far and away the best. But it's not always going to be the case. I love being in control of my future. I love controlling my destiny. And I know that sounds real cliche, but being an employee, you don't control it. And you can do a lot to try and manage it, but you don't control what happens to your company and if you're going to get laid off or if, you work with coworkers that you don't like. So that's the thing is when I'm an employee, I don't get to choose where I work, my work conditions. I don't get to choose my coworkers. Those things are chosen for me. And while, yeah, I might be given a measure of security and I might be given some benefits, holy cow, my company is in full operation while I'm up here at Island Park. You can't do that. You can't work from Island Park when you're an employee. I haven't found a job like that, at least. So let me know what you think. Am I off my rocker? Leave some comments below. If you like it, then subscribe. I want you here, and we'll see you tomorrow.